Hey everybody, good morning. This is Dr. Levi with your show, The Dr. Levi Show. So happy to have you with us today. Lots to discuss, a lot of good things and some things that are somewhat challenging, especially emotionally. So today is October 4th, 2017. Gorgeous here in Los Angeles as per usual, thank goodness. And I hope wherever you are today, you're making it a great day. I want to remind you that you matter. You are worthy and that your life is important. No matter how much money you have, who you know, or who you don't know, I want you to know that you are valuable and that you have gifts to share with the world. And guess what? The world is waiting for you. So make your presence known. Let people know that you're alive and you're here to be of service and to make the world a better place. Now, speaking of making the world a better place, we have to talk about something that is not a good thing, but we have to address it. So, the tragedy, the massacre in Las Vegas, there are ineffable. That's the word for it, indescribable. There are no words for that type of hatred, that type of planning of evil, which I think is just unbelievable. So, to the 59 or 58 people that died, here on our show, the Dr. Levi Show, our hearts and condolences go out to you, to all the 500 plus people that were injured and their lives, their families disrupted. Again, our hearts go out to you and we wish you speedy recoveries. And to the first responders, we thank you for being these really modern day heroes to make places safer and putting yourself in the way of harm. I can't say enough. I can't say enough. Just thank you. And I think it's so appropriate for us today with this type of recent tragedy that what we're going to do on our show today, we're going to just take a minute just to remember these people because they are us. We're all connected. No one's better than no one else. No matter who you are, we're all connected. So we're going to just take a true moment of reflective silence. When I say reflective, I really mean to really think about how grateful you are to have your health, your mind, your body, to have your family, to have a job, to have an impact in life, and to think about all those people now whose lives have been transformed forever. Because don't forget, they're not only affected by being shot, they're being affected by the emotional turmoil that they'll always have in their head by remembering that they were shot at a concert, having fun with their family, their friends, their partners, their wives, their husbands, their children. I just, I can't even. There's just no words for it. All right. So let's just take a moment of silence to really think and be prayerful and send our thoughts out to all of those in Vegas and all those people that were affected and for the country, really. All right. And if you really think about it, taking a minute, 59 are people dead, horrible tragedy, taking this minute of silence, giving each of them a minute of memorandum, just to really go to that place of thinking, it could be someone we know. It could be a neighbor. It could be a colleague at work. It's just it's devastating. I tell you. Now I have to share this with you. I had our World Championship Spartan race in Tahoe on Saturday, and I came back on Sunday, But Sunday morning, I went from Reno to Vegas. I had an hour and a half layover in Vegas, going from Vegas back to LA. And I thought, wow, I was actually in Vegas the day of this horrific happening. It's just unbelievable. So I want to say again, heartfelt condolences for everyone's loss. And the Dr. Levi Show, we're with you in spirit and we're with you in prayer. All right. Now, I also want to talk today about, I want to have a medical moment. I also want to tell you about our extraordinary guests that we have today, too. And I'll tell you about them after our medical moment. The medical moment is about mental illness. I think we have to talk about that in light of this horrific massacre and tragedy in Vegas because, it's clear that for someone to do what was done, they needed help. This was someone who was really sick. And mental illness is something we really have to be aware of. And I see it often in patients that I take care of who are homeless. I see it in many of them. And I want to remind people that when you see someone who's homeless, don't just simply think they chose homelessness. People don't choose to not have a house, to not have a job. Often these are individuals, they're citizens, they're human beings, they're someone's son, someone's daughter, who should be treated with compassion, should be treated with love, should be treated with respect, because often they have a mental illness. Now, how do we define mental illness? Well, in the lexicon, there are multiple ways we define it. But what I want to tell you about is that there are multiple things that someone has. It could be bipolar disorder, it could be depression, it could be schizophrenia, it could be schizoaffective disorder. There's so many labels that we can have for individuals. The bottom line is that I want to remind people that individuals with mental illness, they need help. They need support. They need us to step up. They need us to write to our Congress people to say, hey, what are we doing to not only help them, but actually get them to another level in their lives so that they can actually be sustaining contributors to society. That's what I think is so important, that we can't, to me, I often think in my mind that I look at homeless people and people with mental illness as well as the veterans as a category that many people throw away. They think they don't matter. Well, veterans, those men and women are the real heroes. That's why we have our sustained freedoms. They should be loved and respected. Homeless people, well, we should help them too to not be homeless. Because we have a home doesn't mean we're better than they are. And because you have a home today doesn't mean you're going to have a home tomorrow. So you got to be careful, all right? So I think it's incumbent upon us to really be proactive in the world right now. And with respect to mental illness, I want to give you a few things to think about. If you have a friend, a partner, a spouse, a neighbor, a colleague at work, a sister or brother, a mom or dad, and you see the following. You see them being more withdrawn, not speaking, being very isolationist, losing a lot of weight, or maybe gaining a lot of weight, or not talking, or seeming very depressed, or being very angry, or very moody, or doing things that they're not telling anyone about, that you see that they're being very secretive about stuff, or that they're taking trips, or that they're packing things that no one can look at, no one can touch a certain area. But you know what? You need to touch those areas. You need to look into those things. You need to talk to them because they may need help. They may be planning on doing something to hurt themselves or hurt others or hurt you. So be aware. That's what I want you to say. Just be aware of your environment. Be aware of people, how they're changing. And then if something's going on, you want to confront them in a loving, compassionate way. What's going on with you? You're not acting the same. You're scaring me. I don't feel safe around you. We need to get you some help, because we love you. So I'm asking everyone to really, think outside the box, go outside the box, and do something different. Don't just settle for the status quo. The status quo is not working. It's not about making America great again. It's about making America sane again. And we all have to participate in the sanity of America by doing what we can to make America better. It's really not that difficult if you really think about it. You just ask yourself every day, did I get up and make a difference today? Or did I get up and I'm the same person, had no impact on anybody else? Only you know. Why? Because you take you wherever you go, all right? So with that said, I want to tell you about our guest today, who is a pro baller, who's an amazing individual who is doing what he can to make America as well as the world a better place. I can't wait to talk to you about his film, to talk to you about his foundation, to talk to you about his life, because it shows you that what I love about life is that I'll share this with you, something that my grandmother used to tell me, and this is to this day I think about it, and I didn't understand it as much as a kid, but now I get it at 35 plus, is one day I went to her and I said, I said, well, the kids were making fun at me at school. They were talking about me, blah, blah, blah. And, and they didn't want to play with me. And I didn't get invited to this thing, because I was so black. In the South, because of my skin color, I was really discriminated against. Not only as a black man, but as a black man, there's a lot of interracial discrimination. So I wouldn't get invited to things often because I was, darker than a paper bag. This is just the truth. So my grandmother, she would always say, well, Levi, she said, they treat you like trash. I said, yeah, they treat me like trash, exactly. She'd always say, well, Levi, don't forget, son, God is in the recycling business. And those same people now who are treating you like trash, they're going to want you one day. And I used to look at it and think, what is she talking about? But now I get it, that no matter where you are in life, God can recycle your life. He can change the direction of your life. He'll drop away all the people that are not good for you. They'll fall away like shells. And all the right people will show up magically like that. That's where your life goes. So never think that there's a roadblock that you can't either go through, go around, or go under. God can move it all. Just have faith, And when we talk about faith, we're really talking about a guy like Schea, who's a man of faith, who is an extraordinary man, who is, as I said earlier, a pro baller. So, Schea, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dr. Levi.
So happy to have you on the show. Our show, the Dr. Levi Show, is really about talking about people like you who are making a difference in the community. So I want to thank you for everything that you're doing, for everything that you've done, and more importantly, for being the man that you are, because it reminds other people that you can do it. You can make your life work for you if you make the right decisions, because with every decision, there are consequences. So you got to be careful what you choose. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? But there's a consequence. So welcome, Schea. So let's talk about your life now. I know you're from San Pedro, California.
Correct.
Let's tell us about your family, about your mom, your dad, your brothers and sisters. Big family, small family?
Big enough. Had a lot of family migrated from the South, from Louisiana early on.
Yes.
Me and my brother were born here in Los Angeles. My mother's from New Orleans originally.
Great. That's where I'm from.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
That's the boot.
Yes, it is.
And my father is from Louisiana, northern area, near Shreveport, a place called Houma. Rest in peace. He passed away in the last few years.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Thank you. During the completion of the film, but I was raised the right way. I mean, with morals and dignity and hard work and integrity, things like that, and just be a God-fearing person. And I feel like my parents were successful in that, with myself as well as my brother, and I have a sister and some other siblings that I haven't met before, but. Me and my brother have been really close over the years, and I think he's a big driving force for me because he played ball as well.
Right.
Emerged and was able to play in the NBA for 4 years. So we had battles from young,
all the way
growing up in San Pedro, exactly.
Right.
And I tested myself. A lot of people ask me, well, how did you play and have that confidence that you had? I said, well, I played against older, stronger, bigger guys all the time. So constantly raising the bar.
Right, challenging yourself.
Exactly. No room for complacency.
I agree.
So when I got against my competition in my age group, I kind of reigned supreme because I had a different level of confidence.
Well, I tell you, and then your level of confidence was even seen when you were in 6th grade, being player of the year there in high school. I mean, you've continued to set the bar higher and higher for yourself.
Correct.
And the great thing about that is, as you set that bar higher, you become better.
Exactly.
You're not staying in that place of, I'm going to just sit here and maybe kind of think about doing it. You're out doing it.
Correct. My life is unconventional at the end of the day. I mean, things happen out of my control, and because of those things that happened, it did something within me. It just created something that I couldn't even imagine. I mean, I got to give glory to God because the heart that I have for the youth today is unmatched, I feel. And the world is going to get a chance to hear my story soon. The Man-Child documentary will be out in March, and we're looking forward to that too.
What was it like for you when you were growing up? Were you always thinking outside the box, like you wanted to do something different? What kept you pushed and focused to make the right decisions?
Well, there's a couple of things that my parents obviously instilling those values and their work ethic and understanding there was repercussions.
And were they disciplinarians?
Correct, for sure. My father would crack the whip.
To.
Yeah, he was a man of few words, but
right.
When he spoke, it was like E.F. Hutton. Everybody listened.
Everybody listened. I got
you
you.
didn't have to tell me but once.
Right, exactly.
And my mother was like very soft spoken, jovial in a way, but no nonsense as well.
Right.
Very supportive of what my father's direction was.
Exactly.
And me and my brother fell in line, and it worked well.
You had to.
Exactly.
I think it's great. Now, I want to hear about your transition from high school to collegiate to pro baller. How did that come about?
Well, the high school piece was pretty easy. I started at St. John Bosco High School and wound up transferring out of there before the season started, just because it was a better fit where I would end up going, which was Modern Day High School, which is a perennial powerhouse. And the timing couldn't have been better. I had some of the best basketball years of my life, I would say, on and off the court. Really do a really good job. That school, Modern Day, is like a mini college.
Well, it's a great place.
Yeah, it's a rotating schedule.
And they're known also for academics.
Exactly.
Not just about ballers, but also about the academics. You have to be a scholastic there.
Most definitely.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, they challenge you in every aspect, in every sport. It isn't just basketball or football. The excellence is in the classroom as well as on the court, and then as a person. So I felt like in high school, I made the right decision. We had a great time, won a CIF title my sophomore year. I was State Player of the Year, all those things. And, it led me up to my junior year, and some things took place, and I had to wind up transferring because of some financial difficulties my parents were having, and I finished at St. John Bosco.
And when you were going through challenges like that with your family, what kept you motivated to still want to go forward, and not just fall off?
I wanted to be special. Me and my brother's goal growing up in the LA Harbor area, we wanted to be the best coming out of our area. And I feel like what we wanted to do, we set out to accomplish. We did that.
And you did it.
Right. So there's other goals now. It doesn't stop.
No.
It's always something.
I agree.
Always the next.
Always the next.
For sure.
And I love that statement. I love what Schea says that always next, because he really is a man of service. And I think service is the highest order of humanity. I love that statement that there's always something next. There's always something to give more of.
Most definitely.
This is fantastic. Now, from high school to college. Let's hear about that.
So from high school to college, I tore my shoulder going into my senior year, my junior summer. Had a reconstruction in the labral tear. And it was the first time I had a major surgery, and it was on my shooting arm. So I was worried. I didn't know how this would bounce back, how I would rebound, things like that. It was more mental than anything.
Of course.
So I wound up sitting out. I was a McDonald's All-American, voted in unanimously, wasn't able to play in the game because I was injured my whole senior season. So had a slew of offers from all the colleges you can add, UCLA, USC, UNLV, all the majors, Georgia Tech, and wound up going to Long Beach State with my brother, and he decided to declare hardship for the NBA because of financial stuff with my family, and I asked to be out of my commitment with Long Beach State, and they granted it. So
which is a blessing.
Correct. That doesn't normally happen.
No.
So they let me out, and I was thankful for that. And I, kind of surveyed the land and looked at all my options, and I said, well, I'm from Los Angeles. The biggest place is UCLA. This is the West Coast, North Carolina. So decided to go there. Signed there. I was there with Baron Davis, Earl Watson, guys like that. And we were all in freshman FSP. Everything's going well. We're excited about the year. We feel like we're going to be in the Final Four.
Exactly.
And last day of FSP, I passed all my courses. One of the proctors came up and handed me a paper, and the headline was NC2A invalidates Cotton's test score. You could have bought me for a penny.
Just like that.
Yeah, it just. Talk about your world going upside down. I'm in Westwood at UCLA, which is basically like Beverly Hills.
Very much so.
And I have to figure out what I'm going to do with my life now because UCLA doesn't take Par 48s, and I don't want my college clock to start, so I'm not going the JUCO route.
Well, no, do not.
No, so I went to prep school back east at St. Thomas More in Connecticut, and it was really tough. That year was hell for me.
And it was tough. Why? What was the toughness about?
Well, it was demoralizing because you get to watch your peers at UCLA play on television, and here I am in an all-boys school in the middle of nowhere in the Northeast, and it's freezing, and I'm asking myself, what did I do to deserve this?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it wasn't an academic situation.
Not
it was
at all.
more of a political.
Right.
So I took another year of school
Right.
that I've already been through and just focused on my basketball. So I utilized that as a time, well, this is a character opportunity.
Right.
You know,
So
this is
grow your
resilience.
character.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I just bounced back. I didn't look at it as poor me.
No.
You know, I looked at it as, you know what, why not me?
Yes.
And I'm going to make the best of this.
Exactly.
So I went there, and
Exactly.
I laid everything out there. ESPN came up and did a
Right.
story. I was leading the knapsack in scoring. I was averaging over 30 a game,
Right.
you know, with teams like Maine Central Institute, which is a big one back
Big one
east.
there, yes.
And I had offers from all the colleges. I wound up signing with NC State and ACC. NC2A was still giving me a hard time, so we had to go in a different direction. We had to sever our ties.
Right. I want to know, when you were going through, what was going through your mind psychologically? Where were you, and was there any like depression, any stress? I want to know about that.
Yeah, it was pockets of both.
It had to be.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, the depression I was slipping in and out of. When I went home after prep school,
Right.
and landed at Long Beach City College, it was tough because I had to face everybody I came up with.
Right.
You know, where I made my name and see my peers and ask me all those hard questions.
And they knew you. They knew how great you were.
Exactly. And in the media, once again, following me every game. I mean, every game in college was sold out in JUCO too. So,
Really?
Yeah, we talking 5,500, 6,000 people at Long Beach City College. I mean, we went 30-something games undefeated. It was never been done in school history. So everywhere I went, I felt like I broke records and
Right.
made milestones,
Right.
you know. But mentally, I was checked out. I just wanted to destroy. I didn't care who I was playing against. I wanted to prove a point.
Right.
You guys got me in a position that I really shouldn't be in,
Right.
but I'm going to make the most of a bad situation.
Right. When you look at the politics of that, what do you think drove that to happen the way it did?
I think
That's
when
so
you
bizarre
build
to
somebody
me,
up,
though.
yeah, when you build somebody up so high,
Right.
you leave them nowhere to go but down. And, you know, you're comparing me to a guy like Magic Johnson as
Right.
far as the stardom
Right.
in high school.
Right.
You know, at 15 years old, I'm the biggest thing next to him, including all the college players.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, people are calling me. They want me to train their kid, this and that. I'm like, look, I'm trying to refine my game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So there's a humility aspect that kicked in from all the trials that I went through. And I just dug down within. I said, you know what? I don't know why this stuff is happening, but somehow, some way, God is gonna bring me out of this.
Oh, always.
You know, and I just stayed in it. My parents lifted me up. They kept me encouraged. My brother supported me, and it's by God's grace and my comfort that I'm here today.
What I'm amazed at is your resilience and your strength to keep pushing when you're at the low of the low.
Right. Right.
And you don't deserve to be there.
Right.
And still have the mindset to say, you know what? I'm better than. I'm not going to let people box me in, keep me here, and destroy my dream or destroy me.
Correct.
And you kept pushing.
Correct.
Where did you get the strength to do that? I want to understand that. I want our viewers to get it.
Family. I mean, my father was a tough individual. You know, he had probably over 17 back surgeries.
Wow.
A near-death experience. Falling out of a truck in Utah.
Wow.
In the wintertime where he lands in the snow, the ice is what saved his life because his body went into the shock.
Wow.
And the ice basically had him in a position where he was at peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked about this stuff growing up, dealing with slavery, growing up in Louisiana.
Right.
How he migrated west and started a new life, and then met my mother. They got married.
Right.
It was the best thing that could have happened.
Right.
My mother was a good balance of not too tough and not a pushover,
Right.
and loving at the same time,
Right.
unconditionally. And my father was stern, very hard-nosed.
But still loving.
Exactly. But very direct about the approach. No
Right.
nonsense.
No gray zone.
No. It's you show up, do your job, and you go home.
Right.
You come early and you stay late.
Right.
And that was the mentality.
I think it's great though that there's so much here I want to cover. Number one is to have wonderful parents like that and have an extraordinary father who did not let you think that you could stop, that you were better than, and that you believed it. Because if he believed it and you didn't, it wouldn't help.
Right.
But he believed in you and you believed in yourself, Schea Cotton. That's the ticket. And you have to go deep sometime to pull out to say, I am not going to stay down here.
Yep.
I am better than you think.
Yep.
And you did it.
Yep. Believe me, 20 years later, You know, we got a film coming out. You know, I thank God for my father filming all those games, because we have vintage footage back when I was like 8th grade.
Wow.
You know, that we're showing. I mean, this film's going to hit some hearts. You know, it's not about basketball.
Well, you're going to hit some hearts
story.
because you're real. Or you will, you know, because you're you know, I wish you all were here with us right now, because Schea exudes this energy of authenticity, of truth, of this is the way it is. I mean, I've never met your father. I wish I'd had the opportunity to meet him before he passed. But you definitely have to have some of that which he gave you.
Most definitely.
Because I can feel it here.
Yep.
It's all real. It's
Yep.
no BS. It's no nonsense. This is what it is. This is who I am. I present this to you. If you want it, great. If you don't want it, God bless you. I keep moving on.
That's right.
I appreciate you being here. I can tell you that. One thing I want to hear about, though, I want you to talk about, because I want everyone to know about, this is a young guy who is not only making a difference in being who he is, but with impacting youth. And think about it. When you hear the statement that children are our future, well, they really are. Let's talk about your other organization that you're involved with that's making a big difference in the communities.
Well, Man Child League Corporation is a foundation we started in the last 4 months. We're really excited. We've got a great AAU team that's looking pretty promising. I just added my second branch, which is going to be a local team, 14 and under, and we're seeking sponsorship right now. We're looking for donors, private money, any sponsors, anybody that has a heart for kids and wants to be a part of something special. We welcome it. We have tax ID information for everybody. It's all legit. It's under the state of California. You can look it up. Man Child League Corporation is effective.
What about what website? Is there a website for it?
You can go to SheaCottonManChild.com for more information.
How's that spelled?
Schea Cotton, SCHEA, Cotton with 2 T's, COTTON, manchild.com to find more information, or follow me on my social media at Instagram at Schea Cotton as well.
And Man Child is about really doing what for the community, doing what for the youth?
Well, we enrich the lives of the youth through sports and education in a nutshell, and then we do a lot of mentoring. So it's basically teaching them the game of life through basketball.
Right. And that's a powerful statement, the game of life through basketball, because life is a game, and you have to know how to manage it.
Yes.
If you don't, you get managed.
Yes.
It's just the truth.
Yes.
It really is. Now, I also want to talk about the thing that I thought was the most empowering is, let's talk about the film, because that, I think, I want everyone to hear this. I want Schea to talk about it, but I think this will be a thunderous, apocalyptic happening in film with respect to sports and with respect to a true humanitarian, a genius athlete, and someone who epitomizes, I will not be contained. I will keep on moving. You will not stop me. My faith sustains me. My hard work sustains me, and I will make a difference. Let's talk about the film, because it's a biggie, man.
Man Child, the Schea Cotton story, A Dream Deferred is the title. It is powerful. It's riveting.
It's real.
Yes. You have authenticity. You have hardship. You have, betrayal, deception.
It's your life.
Yes. Yes, everything in one. I mean, when I think about it, I'm at peace.
Right.
We worked 20 years to get to this point. We showed in LA Film Festival. Think about these numbers: 4,200 films. They ranked us top 5.
Tell me that's not amazing.
I mean, so God is all in this.
Always.
And I'm pushing every second of my day, to make sure that it has a good home.
Right. And it will.
For sure.
As you were saying that, immediately I thought this statement, again, something my grandmother would always say, is that when God is for you, who can be against you?
That's right. That's right.
I think you already shielded.
Yep.
And I think what's coming forth from the film is really going to not only be just a riveting experience for people, but also be riveting for you to see how people love and appreciate your life and how you've lived it.
100%.
Because, film captures everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the smelly. Everything is captured. Mm-hmm. So when you present them, hey, this is Schea Cotton, all of me, then it's all real. Yep. There's no, let me give you a little part of me. You giving the real you, man.
Right.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
And that's fearless also, because often we live in this place where we show certain people a part of us. We share certain things with certain people. But you're saying, no, the door is open. You want to look in? Well, get ready. Put on your eyeglasses. Put on your sunglasses. This is all of me.
Yeah, it's gonna
phenomenal,
be heavy.
man.
It's gonna be heavy. 78 minutes, and this is the beginning because there's more to come. It's gonna get better. You know, I want to do a memoir with the book and really dive into some of the emotion that you want to talk about. And there's things that I can share and I can't because it can get challenging for people, and it may seem like too much.
Too,
yeah,
because don't forget when you're writing, and as an author of a book, it takes a lot. Yeah. Writing is very cathartic, but also it's heavy,
right? Because
you got to do it. You know, it's like having a dream to do something. You got to do the work to make it happen.
Right.
You could talk about it, or you could do it.
Right.
This is just great shit. Yeah. When you're there, is it just phenomenal for you to see the reaction of people who see the film? Because it's one thing to look at it, okay, that's me, but it's a different thing to see how people react to you.
Right. It's a great point that you brought up. When I went through the festivals and we did our private screenings, my gauge of where we were was after the film's done, when the credits come up, is it standing ovation? Who's clapping? Exactly. Is everybody clapping? Right. And during the film, is anybody getting up for a break? Well, when I watched the film, nobody really went to the restroom. All the footage. And they waited to the very end, and everybody was like a standing ovation. Wow. The Q&A, 45 minutes to an hour. They had oodles of questions.
Wow.
We ran out of time, long story short.
Wow.
So we feel really good about our film. Yeah.
I feel good about it. Just hearing you today talk about it just reminds me that there are films that are worthy of watching. And there are films that can tell a story that can impact your life to make you believe that, he did it. Guess what? I can do it.
That's right.
It's really fantastic, Schea. Yeah. I tell you. I want to let everyone know we're going to bring on also another guest that we have, Alexander Porter Jr., also known as PJ. I want him on the show today because he is such a great, not only a friend of the show, but more importantly, he's a really great friend to Schea Cotton. And I think it's great to have this young artist on who's a model, actor, writer, motivational speaker. I mean, he does so much, and he's so active in the community. Also, very active on social media, like Schea. And I want to remind everyone to please join Schea on social media. Follow him he's on IG, he's on Twitter, he's on Facebook. I mean, he's on anything you could think of. Look for Schea Cotton. Again, it's SCHEA Cotton. That's with 2 T's, COTTON. Just find him. And of course, Alexander Porter with us today. PJ, PJ, welcome to the show. Happy to have you with us.
Thanks, Dr. Levi. It's good to be here.
It's wonderful. What was it like for you to be a part of this experience with Schea Cotton with this film?
Oh man, I mean, it's groundbreaking. I mean, you're talking about a gentleman that has basically been through what we say the storm and the rains.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, he was, not only am I just honored to just be a part of his foundation and what he's doing, I'm also just a fan.
Right.
And, I mean, it's just a phenomenal experience on just the way he can give back. I mean, I honestly can literally say I've found no heart that's bigger.
Right. I believe that. What was it like for you to see the response of people at the presentation of the film, at the premiere, at the film festival?
Well, the responses that I've basically encountered so far from what people have seen the trailer, you can go on YouTube and you can definitely type in Schea Cotton and you can see the trailer to the film that's about to be released in March 2018. Right. I mean, people are just mind blown.
Right.
I'm talking about literally no words.
Right.
So, I mean, Dr. Levi, I'm talking about the godfather of all films.
Right.
This is about to just break the entire theatric industry wide open.
Wow.
And I'm not just saying that just to say that because
no, you feel it. I mean, you're an actor. You know the deal. You know good versus not good stuff.
Absolutely. So I'm talking real, raw, uncut emotion of not only it just has so much that trickles down to the human body emotion from there's times where you're going to be like, oh, man, you're going to want to cry. Wow. There's times where you're going to be like, man, that's powerful. There's times when you're going to be like, man, this guy really did that. There's times you're going to be like, see, you got to understand who Schea Cotton is. You got to understand Schea Cotton was the #1 player in the world, basically in the country at the age of 15. It's a lot of things and challenges that the youth go through today that he can relate to.
Absolutely. Because he went through it.
Because he went through
and
it.
so you can only talk about life. Life is experiential. You can only talk about things you went through.
Right.
If you haven't gone through them, that's like somebody preaching to me about fitness and they're not fit. Well, you got to come again. Yeah. That ain't going to work for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. It ain't going to work.
Right. Absolutely.
So his experiences are captured on film because he lived them.
Because he lived them.
Right.
And the thing about it, guess what? It's real.
Yes.
I'm talking like capital REAL.
Right. This is not a reality show.
No.
This is real life.
This is real life. I mean, the testimonials of the several different people on that film, and not only that, from family members to other people that are also just as big time names in the industry as well, that is contributing to this real life experience.
Exactly.
It's just amazing, Dr. Levi.
I think it's great. What as you talk about it, just gives me chills because I feel what's coming will wake people up. Instead of talking about politics, they're going to talk about life. Mm-hmm. It will talk about how someone overcame many hardships, overcame his own internal psychological abuse. Because don't forget, when someone puts us down, we also start to put ourselves down for a while. Mm-hmm. So we have to pull ourselves out of that abyss of darkness and say, okay, wait, no. I am a being of light. No, I am worthy. No, my mom and dad did not make trash. I'm a good person. I have skills. I have blessings. Now, how do I serve people better? And he did that. Schea, it's really going to be phenomenal.
Thank you.
As I sit here talking with you, it's reminding me to be a better physician, to be a better man, to be a better human being, to be of greater service, and not just to talk it. We live in L.A.
Yep.
We get a lot of that.
Yep.
When it comes to that kind of BS, people will talk your head off. And then you ask them, okay, what have you done for me lately? Quote unquote Janet Jackson. Then you get a whole different thing from people.
That's
you
right.
know?
You got to screen them.
You got to vet them.
Yeah,
you got to vet them.
That's right.
I think it's just. I feel so honored to talk to both of you because it's real conversation about real issues and about real life.
Right.
And I think specifically for me as a man of color, especially as a dark man of color, I know it's necessary to achieve. You and I, we've talked about this before. We know that it's not only racism that's still prevalent throughout the world, but interracial racism still prevalent, which is just crazy to me.
Correct.
I don't even have a barometer for understanding that actually. But I can tell you this, your film will shed a lot of light on life and how to live that game, as you said so well earlier.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited, Dr. Levi. For me, when I think about the film, I think about a couple things today going on, particularly with the NC2A, with college basketball and the state of basketball, where that is and how it's trickling down into high school now.
Right.
So they're gonna find out a lot of stuff that took place in college. It started in high school.
Absolutely.
With the AAU programs and handlers and agents and so on and so forth.
Yep.
And what people need to understand about my story is if it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone.
Yes, it can.
And I didn't take the money.
Right.
That's what
that's
makes
the
it
thing.
so powerful.
Think about that. You didn't take it.
Yeah.
And still got sidelined.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your whole story to me, I tell you, it is like
an enigma.
Isn't it? That's the word. That is excellent. That is great. Wow, that's powerful. Yeah. That's exactly. It is an enigma.
Correct.
There is no. You are right on target there. That was the word. Perfect, man. That's what it is. It is an enigma, and you actually transformed, or even better word, transmuted that enigma with your faith, with your hard work to be better than.
Exactly.
That it's just amazing.
It almost killed me to get there, but
you know
we'll leave that for the film. Yeah,
right, but it didn't.
We leave that for the film.
Right, we leave it for the film. But it shows you if it doesn't kill you, it
only makes you stronger. That's
there
right.
you go.
That's right.
And again, it's something my grandmother, who I miss and love so much, she'd always say, I tell her something. She said, "Well, Levi, remember, boy, only the strong survive."
That's right.
And I always, no matter what I'm going through or who I'm dealing with, in my mind I'm thinking, you might be strong, I'm stronger.
That's right.
I can make it through this.
That's right.
I can do it. With or without money, with or without anything. If I got faith, you got your mind right, I got this covered, God. I know he's going to bring me through.
That's right.
How's it impacted your life, Alexander Porter Jr.?
Man, Shea's story is it's a motivation to me because I'm I'm a young man of color as well.
Yes, you are.
So, I mean, I may be light-skinned, green eyes, but
you still a black man, brother. You still a black man.
Right. So, I'm a young man of color as
no
well.
pass it over here.
Right. Exactly. No. So, that's funny. But I mean, it's just it gives back in a way that Schea is that voice.
Yes, he is.
And what I mean by that voice is like he's the voice of a voice of other voices that can put a voice in me to be another voice to more voices.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
So
it does.
it's I mean, when I seen it, every time, and I've seen the trailer on YouTube once again, just everyone that's listening, you go to YouTube, type in Schea Cotton, the trailer will come up right there. And every time I watch it, I get chills.
Yes.
Like I'm talking just
watching
it, I get chills. And it's the reality of what it is. I mean, and it's just, I mean, it's I'm not a man that gets speechless too many times.
Right.
Because I mean,
that's evident.
As Schea can tell you, I let her talk.
Right.
So but I get speechless, Dr. Levi.
Right.
When I see this, I get speechless. And it just, I mean, it's mind blowing.
And it's raw. You see, that's the thing. I love what you said also, that it's the voice. His voice is what I think about Schea is that he is a voice that is pushing forth generational change in consciousness. How do we become better people? How do you overcome obstacles? And how do you do it with humility?
Correct.
How do you do it with strength? And how do you do it with faith? So he's a man of faith, humility, stability, and strength. Dude, that's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Dr. Levi? For me, it's three things. I went to the NBPA camp as a sophomore when I played against Kobe Bryant.
Right.
And I talk about the story at times to basketball, people,
right.
and people that hear me on different radio stations and stuff talk about it. And they're like, was that true? The story of you playing against Kobe? I said, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just wish I had that footage and I wouldn't have to keep telling
the
story. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so, but I get there to say this. When I went back, I think 3-4 years ago, the NBA Players Camp was in Virginia with Charlottesville, where they had that unfortunate situation happen recently. There was 3 things on the board. They were doing a speaking engagement. Somebody came, and I think it was Chris Herron. He was doing his tour for his documentary he put out. And they had decisions, choices, and consequences. The 3 words were on the table. And I looked up to the podium. I said, interesting. And they broke it down. They said, we all have these 3 things. Now, what are you going to do with them, each and every individual? We all have the same 24 hours.
Absolutely.
And from that day on, those 3 words right there have stuck with me ever since. And since then, it's made me a better person because I became more conscious of my decisions and my choices.
And don't forget, that was the first thing we talked about on the show, is that with every decision, there are consequences.
Most definitely.
So you have to be careful what you choose. Again, the red pill or the blue pill. It's important. Now, what about yourself now, Alexander? When you see yourself being a part of such a big story like Shea's, how do you stay humble, thinking that, I just have to do my part and to let people know that this is coming forth? What is it like for you just to be a part of this?
The man above. God is the guider, the direction, the path of everything he's leading Schea on, and then also blessing me to be a part of. That's what keeps me humble. Right. That's what keeps me who I am, because no matter what anybody says, no matter what haters may try to throw at you or anything,
you're protected.
Guess what? We're protected.
Oh, yeah, man.
Why? Because God's in this.
Yeah, he's in the mix.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
So
I do. He's in
preach
this.
That.
And guess what? He's a perfectionist.
Oh, very much so.
Because see, the I don't know about anybody else, but I'm a living witness that he's never doubted me.
Never, man.
So the thing is, anything that God does and orchestrates, see, once he gets the bowl and he starts cooking and stirring the pot, man, that meal is going to be perfect.
Be correct. Yes, it is.
Nobody can turn off that oven. Nobody can turn off that microwave. Nobody. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reality of what this is, Dr. Levi. So that's what keeps me driven. That's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me basically on the path of, listen, and not only that, first and foremost, it's about the kids.
Oh, very much so.
So the children is our
Very
future.
much so. Yes, they are.
And this is why, one of the reasons like Schea has a heart of hearts to want to give back to the children in a way that it's like, look, okay, we understand he was on one path, all right? But God saw in his vision that he directed him another path.
Absolutely.
So now guess what? He became a new beast, all right? And this man-child, once again, the Man-Child Elite Corp and the AAU teams and stuff like that and the foundation that we're definitely trying to get these sponsors and stuff too. That's what it's about. It's about giving back to a community and a generation that is our future. Yes. Because I'm not just looking at just you, Dr. Levi, or me, Alex Porter, or Schea Cotton. Guess what? There can be a lot of Dr. Levis, a lot of Schea Cottons, a lot of Alex Porters, stuff like that. So, yes, sir.
And as you say that, his film, even if it's about this Schea Cotton, you said it again, there are a lot of Schea Cottons whose story has never been told. There are a lot of Dr. Levi's stories never been told. A lot of Alexander Porter Jr.'s stories not been told. But we will see ourselves in your story. Your story will give strength to people who will say that it will impact their lives in a way that will be transformative. It will lift them up. That's the great thing about your story. It's raw, it's real, and it's relatable. When people can see themselves in you, it's like, okay, I can push through this. I can make my life better. I won't settle for mediocrity, which is, as my father would say, that's never acceptable. That's mediocrity. Never.
Right.
I mean, you're a man of excellence.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think I'm guilty of that on another level because that carries into everything in my life. But, I'm okay because I don't live in complacency.
No, you cannot.
I think that's when, the decline comes.
Yes, it does.
After complacency.
Right.
So we want to stay driven, and that's a big part of what my work is today. Look, my life's about service today.
Yes, it is.
And I can't touch enough kids with my time.
Right.
So when this film comes out, we plan on being plenty busy. Dr. Levi.
Let me tell you.
That's the goal.
Let me tell you, when this comes out in March, we're gonna definitely have Schea and Alexander back on, and I would what I'd love to have on too with you if possible. I'd love to have your mother come on also,
you got
to let her talk about you
for sure,
because that's a documentary in itself. Because Schea Cotton through the eyes of his mother, that's a whole different story.
Yeah,
that story hasn't been told because she could only tell it.
Yep.
Only she could tell that story.
She tell it well.
Oh, I bet she would. From talking about you as the good child, the disciplined child, the focused child, the child that needed this and that. I mean, only she could tell that story. It's like our mothers can tell a whole, because they see us differently. And their story can sometimes be a scary story, but it's a real one.
That's right.
It's a real one.
Right. Well, it makes it real for everybody else to know the not so good things too.
Absolutely.
I was hyper, had a lot of energy, all those things. She'll be able to dive into that.
Right.
And then her experience as a parent, being the mother of a so-called superstar at that time, and what that was like as that spiral was taking place and going through all those trials.
Right. And think about it. What it was like for your mom and your dad when you were on this pinnacle of success and all of a sudden taken away.
Yeah.
What was it like for them for their hearts to drop, saying that they saw you go into that place and now you're not there anymore?
Well, my father would talk to my mother about this behind the scenes.
Right.
And he just would get so frustrated because he couldn't do anything about it.
He
He prided himself on strength of protecting his family, like most fathers do.
Yes.
And it was out of his hands.
Right. So imagine how he felt.
Yeah.
Like, strong as he was, as intelligent as he was, hardworking as he couldn't stop that.
Right.
As you were talking earlier, I thought about one other thing that my family says when we're talking about how God can, you talk about how he can stir things up and no one else can stop it. I thought about this thing that my family used to always say is that, when I was going through something, my mom and grandma would say, think about this, Levi. She'd always say, well, think about this being a hand of God and you're in his hand. No one can shake you up because they can't shake him up. And I've always loved that because it always reminded me that no matter what's happening, I'm still protected.
That's right.
Because think about it. If you're here in his hand, for them to shake you up, they got to shake him up. They can't shake him up. They might do a lot. They can't do that.
Right.
So I think faith is, I know for the film as well as in your life, is like the mortar of your life. It's like you put the bricks of your life together. The thing that seals it, keeps everything tight, is your faith. What has allowed you to maintain that faith through those trials and extraordinary, abysmal tribulations?
Staying close to my infrastructure, my immediate circle, my mother,
The people you
father,
know love you.
for sure, my brother, and my obedience
Yes.
to God,
Yes.
and my commitment, and that right there is, I think, number one. My obedience to Him and the undying love for Him, and my commitment, no matter what I'm being faced with, giving Him His time every day, a little bit each day. It's not 5 hours a day.
No.
Give Him a little bit every day,
Right.
and then call on Him in glory, in trials,
Yeah.
all the way across the board.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fan here, dude. We're just happy for you. I applaud your platform, your strength, your humility, your humanity, your strength, your courage, your fearlessness. I applaud you.
Thank
I
you
really
for the
mean that.
opportunity too,
Absolutely.
Dr. Levi.
I want to really thank Schea Cotton for being here. I want to remind you, as well as Alexander Porter Jr. for being with us. What are your social media platforms? Alexander, how can they reach you?
Yes, you can reach me on Instagram at sports, SPORTZ _round, ROUND _up, UP. Also on Twitter at Alex Porter Jr. 32. And yeah.
Fantastic. What about yourself again, Schea?
Instagram, Facebook, as well as Twitter at Schea Cotton. And then anything else, just go right to our website, SheaCottonManchild.com. You'll see the trailer. Click that. Enjoy that and just peruse around. We've got plenty of stuff.
Awesome. And please join me on my social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch TV, IG. You know, we're all there. And I want to say, too, I look forward to giving a $1,000 donation to Shea's Foundation today. Hopefully, you know, that will make a difference. It's not a lot, but it's something.
Yeah.
And I hope it can help to be a part of the mentoring process for youth. And I want to thank everyone for being a part of the show today. It's Dr. Levi, so have a great day. Remember, be of service, be kind, be authentic, be real, and life is waiting for you. This is Dr. Levi. Take care, everyone.